What's going on, guys? It's Adam P. Once again, back with Newcastle United transfer news. Well, a lot can happen in 24 hours. We have went from local journalists in Frankfurt yesterday saying that Hugo Ekitike has agreed personal terms to join Newcastle United. On top of that, second bid coming in, advanced talks. Newcastle looks set on bringing this player in. All of a sudden, Liverpool public interest, they then approached Frankfurt, and Hugo Ekitike has now agreed personal terms to join Liverpool. So, yeah, for the second time in 3 years, this guy, at the first sign of any big club coming in for him, has immediately just shoved Newcastle away and has opted for the bigger move. Now, we discussed the possibility yesterday that Liverpool, of course, are not going to get Isak. Newcastle has approached Liverpool and said that Isak is not for sale this summer. Of course, from Liverpool's ultimatum, they've now went in for Hugo Ekitike. Just like that, power move from them. They're going to get Ekitike. But I think we can walk away from this one happy. Now, Isak is the better of the two strikers. Isak was Liverpool's number one transfer target, Ekitike being number two. So Liverpool, being unable to land their key signing, has then went in for what is deemed in their eyes to be the number two. So Newcastle, you can't say we haven't walked away from this well. We have held off the world's best team in signing our player. We've closed the shop up. And well, of course, we would have loved to have Isak and Ekitike. Newcastle won't be spending £86 million on what is, admittedly, as much as I like him, is a young striker who is not playing in the Premier League. So that's going to be a big player to fill the boots of anyone in Liverpool's team next season. So Ekitike's got a lot of work to do there. You can talk about the situation all you want. Them saying Ekitike means that we don't lose Isak. And which striker of the two would you rather have? It's an obvious answer. Liverpool fans, watchers, I got a feeling Liverpool fans coming to this video are going to just come in straight away. They're going to bang on about this being a massive W for you. Is it? I think both teams can honestly walk away from this being happy. Both of them have got a good striker. Newcastle, of course, we can now finally look elsewhere and be done with this Ekitike stuff. We can now actually go out and bring the players we want to bring in. Hopefully, Liverpool's not going to follow us around all summer long, taking our transfer targets, but they've got Ekitike now. I'm sure Liverpool fans are going to be happy with that. The claims from Liverpool is that, well, in 12 months, they're going to come back for Isak. But I'm telling you now, in 12 months, a lot can happen. And while I think it's entirely possible, and I would maybe even say likely perhaps that Isak could go next summer, there's a lot of strikers out there, though. In 12 months, new players will pop up. Players will want to leave football clubs. I think Newcastle now, just making sure we keep our key players, that's the foundations we laid. And that's how you become a successful team. Newcastle just needs to keep the backbones of our squad. And we've done it. I'm happy with that. I'm sure you guys will be happy with that as well. But first off, if you are new around here, we are going to Glasgow tomorrow. Celtic match this weekend. 10,000 Newcastle fans out there. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming content. 55% of you watching are not subscribed, so make sure you do that so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Now, going back on topic, Newcastle has made a signing to give you some good news. We have signed Park Seung-soo, 18-year-old Korean youngster, superstar, one for the future. We've signed them ahead of our tour, which, of course, is in Asia and involves South Korea. So the idea being for Newcastle, bit of a marketing scheme, but South Korean player coming in will rival up against Song Heung-min as Newcastle takes on Tottenham in South Korea. So it's a chance for us to sell shirts, to show off a youth player, and of course to make the Korean fans feel a bit welcome. So eventually he'll be loaned out, might be one for the future, or might be sought on for PSL. I'm not entirely sure, but a done deal at least. As for Romano's exclusives, he's claimed that Liverpool have submitted an official bid to Frankfurt to bring in Hugo Ekitike. Frankfurt already informed Liverpool they want more money. Proposal rejected, but it was initial contact as talks continue. Ekitike has said yes to join Liverpool. No issues on personal terms. He wants Liverpool. Well, didn't you want Newcastle yesterday? And didn't you want Newcastle 3 years ago before you got to PSG? This guy flips back and forth more than a slice of bloody toast. I mean, you were at PSG a couple of years ago. Then you went to Frankfurt. And now you're going to go to Liverpool. How many clubs have you been at? You're younger than me. He's been at about 6 different clubs in the past 5 years or something. Now, Do I sound bitter? Yeah, I am a bit bitter, to be fair. I did want Ekitike. I think Newcastle deep down, of course, wanted them. You're not putting 80 million euros into a player that we didn't want. We obviously did want Ekitike. Ultimately, the players chose Liverpool, just like he did 3 years ago. Big club came in 3 years ago, and he chose PSG back then. So while I say now that it's a positive for Newcastle, obviously a couple of days ago I wouldn't have said that. The reality is, though, this guy clearly isn't interested in Newcastle, or at least is not interested enough to commit to us. Not going to commit to the Eddie Howe project. The second he sees a bigger club that wants him, he's just picked them every single time. Maybe there's politics behind the scenes. Maybe it's agents perhaps trying to just get clubs to come in for Ekitike by using Newcastle's name. I'm not entirely sure, but we do know Newcastle had one bid, 80 million euros rejected. Second bid was ready to go in. It was absolutely raring to go. And then Newcastle pulled the bid out. So they clearly felt like they weren't going to land the player, or they've been told from Frankfurt or from Ekitike himself that he's not going to join Newcastle. So Newcastle was just stop wasting everyone's time and just walked away. I think we've done the right thing. I'm intrigued to see how what the Newcastle fans think. But the player Clay is not interested in joining Newcastle. It hasn't been that case. The second Liverpool's entered that scene, he's just folded straight away. And this exact thing happened with PSG back in 2022. So I'm not going to blame Newcastle. I think we've done the right thing in the end. £86 million that it would have cost us to bring Ekitike in. That money can be spent elsewhere. We don't have PSR restrictions holding us back this summer. Again, next summer might be a different story. But for now, Newcastle just go out there. Striker-wise, it's going to be hard to sort out. But our areas we can definitely cover. We can definitely go in and get the players that we want. I'm just happy that this Liverpool-Newcastle back and forth thing is just going to be slowly fading out a little bit. Again, I reckon in the Liverpool point of view, they're going to fancy this. They're going to say this is a real victory for them. But I don't think it is. Stand by. Isak was their number one target, and they haven't got their number one target. Newcastle has held off the world's best team from being able to take our best striker away from us. So I think Newcastle has looked the better out of the two teams walking away from this. But to be fair, I think both teams can be happy. I'm not going to come out in this video and say that a team's lost. I don't think any team's lost in this situation, but I think Newcastle just about had the bigger win out of the two. Keeping Isak was our main goal this summer, and it looks like we've done that. Massive for us. Now, as for what we do next, strikers, it's just going to be a nightmare. Oh, it's not Dominic Calvert-Lewin. From going from Ekitike to Dominic Calvert-Lewin would be an absolute blow from us. And Liverpool fans would certainly enjoy that on social media. But I stand by what I said in my video yesterday. I think Liverpool fans, or at least some of them on social media, very arrogant and just aggressive almost towards Newcastle. Felt like they were going to walk in, get Isak, walk out like nothing's happened. They haven't done that. Ask Liverpool fans now. What do they think about Isak? They're just going to say, oh, it was always in the grand scheme of plans. We're going to come get him next summer. Well, you weren't saying that yesterday, were you? So you can sit there now. You can mouth on and gob on all you want. Newcastle's kept their big player. That was their number one target. I'm buzzing with that. I'm happy with that. We move on now. We get the players we want. Liverpool have Ekitike. Well done. Enjoy him. But we go out there and we get our own work done. I'm happy with the outcome. I would much rather have that than, let's say, us losing Isak and bringing Ekitike in. Isak, by far, is the better of the two strikers, and he is the one that you would want. And especially for Newcastle, keeping a player, massive for us. Breaking news just in while I'm recording this video, so apologies for not mentioning it before, but Wissa is one of the striker transfer targets Newcastle has once again shown the interest in. A striker that scored over 19 Premier League goals last season, 29 years old, which is the biggest problem of the transfer, but a player you can get for around £30 million. Now, of course, it's always going to be a step down from Ekitike in terms of any transfer target you're going to bring in realistically now. He's good. I'm telling you now, he's a good player. He's quality. Watkins is quality. These have been players that Newcastle have been linked with. One of those two I'll be very happy with. This is a player that we've seen at Brentford. A lot of pace, energetic. He'll just get straight into that back line. And he's someone, despite his age, good. I think he's a good player. And I would certainly say yes to him and then for us to get our transfer targets in. But walking away from this video, I'm just glad that this saga is over. I feel like all Newcastle fans are going to say the same thing. I'm intrigued to hear what the Liverpool fans think. But I'm just glad that this mind games, massive game of chess is finally over. Two teams fighting over two world-class strikers. serious money being pumped down on them and just being able to walk away from this. Both teams walk away happy and unhappy at the same time. It's such a weird, bizarre transfer saga, but both teams can be happy and also a bit displeased at the outcome. So I'm just happy we've done our thing. Wissa is a good target. Whoever that striker is going to be this summer, Newcastle will have the versatility available and they're going to have options available as well. So let's see what happens. Isak stays. I'm happy. Take care, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.